Alright, so I'd like to give all praises, glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Makar Kodash, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, elders that teach well, double honors, and also, sincere, warm, peace be unto all you brothers out there, that push this word, and to you sisters that, give a listening ear, to all your helps, and everyone that supports this ministry, right? This is brother, Ash from Jimmy's Jamaica camp. Coming back at you with these prophecies, right? As we all know, as we should know, right? The situation in the Middle East, keep escalating, right? With modern day Iran, which is Persia, in the scriptures, modern day Babylon has gotten involved, which is America, and of course, those that dwell in the land of Israel, which is Amalek, This dog right here is trying to make a mess. This dog. So like I feel like, these wild dogs on the street. Anyway, so them Amalekites, in the land, calling themselves, Israelis, right? Trying to profess themselves to be men of the Lord, which, we know they're not. Or the people of the Lord, rather, but we know they're not. We see that situation escalating. And if you've been following what we've been teaching, right, has gone to the Bible, right, has gone to the prophets, has gone to prophecies rather, right, that is how World War III would have started, right, and we see the prophecy, playing out in front of our eyes, right. We all saw, last week, the exchange of missile fire, America getting involved, which the scripture said, the least of the flock shall draw them out. And that's exactly what happened. Right, but that's where we are right now in prophecy. Right, so World War III is on the brink, of happening. Right, if you ask me, it has already begun. Right, because there are proxy wars all over. Right, just a few weeks ago, there was a confrontation between India and Pakistan, right? The Gaza Strip and Israel, the whole West Bank situation. Then there is that small proxy war in Oman, Yemen. There is Russia and Ukraine. There's Syria, the war in Syria that's going on. There is also, most recently, as I mentioned, with Iran and Israel, and first thing you ask yourselves, is what the scripture have to say about this, right? What I have on the screen here is Matthew 24, and I just start at verse 6. Say, and ye shall hear of wars and of rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So what we're seeing now, is the skirmishes, right? The smaller wars, right? That is what's happening now, right? But eventually, it's going to, if the situation is going to evolve into, a bigger war, right? Because just as you see America get involved, other countries are going to get involved, right? Other countries like, the Russians, who have interests in Iran. Other countries like China, who have interests in Iran, right? Other countries like Turkey, who have interest in the Middle East just the same, right? And all of this, you know, obviously is going to cause a ripple effect. Talking about things like, you know, trade, the Strait of Hormuz, that is responsible for about 40% of the oil coming out of the Middle East, right? And whatever else trade that passes there, right? That is gonna be affected, right? So the war is not going to be secluded, you know, to that side of the planet, right? It's going to eventually spread, right? You have other countries making threats to the West, you know, like the Russians saying America will burn and things like that, right? So you have other countries throwing threats, you know, back and forth, you know. Other countries, you know, speaking under their breath, but eventually everyone is going to have to get involved, right? That is what's going to go to. Let me continue. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Now that is the truth, right? That is the truth. It's going to be nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. That is what it's coming down to, right? And there's, the famine that's going to come, and the pestilence that Scripture speak of. There's only one way to escape it, right? And that is through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yashai, right? If you're a part of His elect, if you're a part of His elect, right? And that's the truth. That's the only way to escape it, right? Everyone that's on this planet is going to have that situation to deal with, right? In one way or the other, right? There's not going to be, no one's going to be secluded, right? There are not going to be any exceptions. All of us here will be a part of that trouble, right? The Scripture call it Jacob's trouble, right? And then, of course, then the hour of temptation is not too far along either. It's not too far ahead either, right? The hour of temptation, you know, when you're gonna be forced, or you're gonna be challenged with taking that MOT to the B, right? You're gonna be confronted with that decision, right? It's not gonna be an easy decision, right? You know, pray that the Lord have that spirit on you, that spirit of resilience, you know, that spirit, you know, of faith, you know, to not take it, right? And to choose the Lord, Yahweh Bashmi Yashai. No other power, no Hindu gods, no Japanese deities, no Chinese deities, no, not their Jesus, as they call him, right? But Yahweh Bashmi Yashai, right? That would be the only power that can save you in that day, nothing else, right? Anything else will lead to your demise, right? You need to pray for that spirit, because these are the things that are coming up on the earth. This is that time, you know, that we're going into, and it is rapidly approaching, right? It is even at the door. The Scripture says in Romans, the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Is that Romans? Well, the part, right, the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore put off the works of darkness and the whole armor of light. Right? Yeah. Because our salvation is near than we believe. Right? That's there. So you know, sometimes you might go read that precept, right? Or you hear it and you don't know how urgent it is. Right? The night is far spent. Hey, right now, the reason why the war is kicked off 100-fold with missiles flying from every country, right? And troops being deployed all over, you know, killing each other with drones and bombs, mortars, bullets, fire, right? Is because the Lord is the angels that the Lord asks to hold the winds of that destruction until He has sealed the servant of His power, seal the servants, you know, his servants, His elect, in their foreheads. That is what you know, is holding this thing back. Yeah. So with that I must say shalom until the next one.